No.
And can two people approve the minutes if Phil and I abstained?
No, gotta have
It's only
three.
2 out of 5, yeah.
Gotta have a quorum of 3.
Yep, we're on. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Board of Selectmen meeting for October 24th, 2016. And I'd like to say that we had opened our meeting at 6:34 and went to non-public to discuss compensation for employee, reputation, and sale or lease of property under RSA 91-A:3, Roman number 2. And at this time to come out of our recess and open our regular meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, if we can.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda is the approval of minutes for October 17th. And we're determining that we can't approve those because we only have 2 of the 3 members here that were at that meeting. But I'd like to approve the minutes for, I believe it's October 3rd.
Yeah, I think you only have the non-public there.
That would be Phil, Mr. Friel, and Mr. Grosky.
I thought the pamphlet came around and we signed all the minutes.
We actually have non-public meeting minutes for October 3rd.
I have the non-public there, I don't have the regular ones
Right, but
for the third.
does everyone have a chance to read October 3rd minutes? In the
You didn't
past?
talk about the non-public ones?
The regular minutes.
They're not in
They're
there.
not in our book, but they,
No.
Huh?
not in our book, but we did not approve them last week because we didn't have enough people here.
What if we just table all the minutes to the
I can
next meeting?
table it.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll table all the minutes till next meeting.
Now, will you add those October 3rd ones back in?
Yep,
Thank you.
Yeah, me too, so that I can refresh it. It's been a while.
yep.
Also on our consent agenda would be donations from Elder Services in the amount of $565.
Make a motion to accept?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? 4-0-0. We have Mrs. Nicer here this evening to talk about the 2017 tax rate.
I'm not sure, we got a preliminary rate of $18.18, which is quite a bit over what we anticipated. We anticipated somewhere around $17.28 to make up for the 10% increase in assessing. Unfortunately, it's the school. We had no way of knowing that the school was going to be almost $1 million, or 8.1% over last year. I believe Alan has given you the comparison last year to this year.
If you look in your appearance section, it should be in there, on the bill.
I guess the most important thing is I need to know what you want to do. It costs $94,000 and change to change the tax rate 10 cents. So we have approximately $400,000 in undesignated fund balance. I recommended, generally speaking, that we go 30 cents, buy down 30 cents. We could do more. 50 cents would be marginal because it cuts into what the state requires that we hold in reserve, but not by enough that it would kill anybody. But we can't go any lower than 50 cents. We don't have the money.
So it's up $1?
It's up 90 cents.
The tax rate?
The tax rate's 90 cents over what we predicted.
So the tax rate is down almost $1. But still, tax rate's going from 1910 to 1818 if we don't do anything.
Yes,
But correct?
well, yes.
If we don't do anything, tax rate will be 1818.
That's correct.
And it was 1910 previously.
Yes, but the assessments are up 10.5%.
Right. That was my next.
Okay.
So that's the balance.
Well, everybody's assessment went up 10.5%.
So assessment's
So
up, tax
we're
rate's
thinking-
down, but you're still paying more.
Right. Do the math, everyone's gonna be, her taxes are going up.
Right.
And the big portion of that is nearly $1 million in the school budget that went up.
Yeah, school budget's up 5%, county's up 5%.
Of 0.5%. 0.5%.
So
Town is down 1.6.
It's
The
kind of,
county's up 4.4. Schools 8.1. And the state ed is down 0.5, which gives us a total increase of 5.2%.
That's on this piece of paper here?
Yeah.
I worked the numbers for 2015 against 2016.
Barbara, can you repeat those one on the line, starting with the town?
Okay,
It's 0.052.
the town is down 1.6.
Yeah.
The county is up 4.4. The school district is up 8.1. The state ed is down 0.5, which makes it overall up 5.2%.
Or what'd you say the municipal was again?
Municipal is down 1.6.
That's 2015 versus 2016.
2016, right.
And when we're talking about the tax rate, this will impact voters when? Or not voters, but taxpayers will impact them when?
December?
Well, if you can give me an answer this evening, I spoke with Debbie and she said we could get a due date as early as December 14th. Then we owe the county almost $1 million on December 17th.
So it'll be the increase or decrease because of the school and the reevaluation is going to be on the tax bill that we're getting in December.
That's correct.
So everyone's tax bills went up because the valuation went up at 1910.
Then you reduce it.
Right.
Can I just give some simple math just to put that into context so people following can understand? So if you had a house valued at $500,000 and that was your assessment on a tax rate of $19.10, your annual taxes, your town, your school, your county, you'd be paying $9,550. As a result of the reassessment that's happened, your $500,000 house is about now valued at $550,000 with a tax rate of $18.18, which means your annual taxes that you're paying is now going to jump from $95.50 to $99.99, absent us doing something that buys down or reduces the tax rate. So you're looking at, if your home's valued in that range, you're talking about a $450 a year annual tax increase.
The only
Sorry.
thing you have to be kind of careful of is not everybody is 10.5%.
Sure.
There's usually a rule of thumb, a third up, a third down, a third aren't going to
Yep.
change.
But that's a good basic math lesson.
I'm very disappointed on that because if I wasn't mistaken, when the fact that everybody was coming in and asking what's going on, why is my home being valued for more money, we were saying to them, I know I did to a couple of them, because of what I was told, your valuation on your house is going to go up, and then your tax rate's going to go down, so there'll really be no increase at all. Now, all of a sudden, it's going sky high, and if I'm being told correctly, it's all due to the fact that the school has gone up and we're paying for it.
Right, that's definitely the biggest chunk is the schools, for
Otherwise,
sure.
it would have been 10% up, 10% down.
Yeah.
Right across the board, evaluation up, tax rate down. The school
Actually,
got into it, and now it's up. I think we ought to start something going for the elections this year to make sure that it goes across that the school board operates on what they had last year. This is out of control.
Default budget.
Well, I'm not entirely sure, if you look at it, that they can do that where 80-some% of the school district budget is contracted salaries and associated insurances.
Well,
But-
those things, you're obligated to do those, win, lose, or draw. But there are a lot of other things alongside of it.
There aren't a lot. That's my point.
There are plenty of opportunities to do just what you're talking about, though, and there are definitely people every year that are striking up that band. So if that's something you're interested in, there's definitely a group out there that would love to have you on board for it.
I'll lead the parade.
You know, unfortunately, the person that has a $500,000 house and, you know, they're gonna pay an extra $500 or $450 in taxes, isn't gonna feel it as much as the people who live, you know, the elderly people who live in town and, you know, they're, you know, have maybe a $300,000 house, but, you know, a couple $100 a year, it makes a big difference to them.
Especially the people that live on the lake. Their their evaluation went right through the roof. And they're not gonna be really compensated for it. So
It's
if you
basically
turn,
10% at the end of the day.
how much
Well,
money do
that's-
we have to use to bring the tax rate down to what it was last year? Do
Can't-
we have enough in there?
No. We only have 400,000.
And how much would that bring us down? Dollar-wise, not percentage-wise.
So what is our
Would
current,
bring us down about
what is our
40
current,
cents.
I just had it,
So
What are you
every
looking for,
100,000
Carol?
gets us down
I got it right
10 cents.
Yeah, well, yeah, 94,000.
here. Every 94,000,
94,000.
drop it 10 cents, that was in your email.
Yeah.
And currently in our designated fund balance, do you think we have around $400,000 to play with?
Yeah, well,
400,000
undesignated,
above the
Okay.
5%.
plus our 5% that they require.
So this fund balance retention sheet that you sent out has it at 1,400,000?
Yes,
That's what
yes,
we got
that's
for
the audited balance.
Yeah.
We can't go below that.
Yeah, $973,082, I think, was the 5% based on what we had.
It's about halfway through the raft of papers that I sent you.
Yeah, so,
So
right, the most we can go down,
431,000,
973,000 should be,
Right.
is our bottom number we should be at.
right. Which gives you roughly around 431.5, somewhere around there.
That 400,000 that you're talking about is the amount of, perhaps the maximum amount that you're suggesting that we could use while still holding back enough.
5%.
The 5%, well,
Which is
we're
DRA.
required to hold a certain amount of money. If we went slightly into the 5%, we could probably get away with it, but we have to hold that money in
What's the total in there right now?
104.
1,404,587.
1.4 million?
Yep.
And the 5% is what?
973,000, roughly.
Okay.
So you're saying that if we took the 400,000 and applied it to the tax rate that we have now that's coming up that we're gonna be dealing with is 1818, and it would drop it down by 40 cents per thousand?
4% out of the 10% increase.
So, quick math, I took the 4,587, and subtracted 594,000, right? Which is 470,000, 9 of those? Be 50 cents. That's 934,587, so it just puts us
So
slightly
on a $500,000
below.
house, instead of a $500 increase, you can have a $250 increase.
That's pretty close.
That's,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
but again, we're also limiting the town that you only have 5%. So anything else comes up, and if we don't
Well,
have a
that's what
bunch of
it's for,
surplus
5%
coming
's
back, what's built it up as surplus at the end of the year coming back
Right.
to refund it, that's not there. Next year, we're not doing anything. You're not buying down any tax rate, you're not doing anything.
Well,
So is it worth taking in spending $500,000 to buy 5% this year. And next year, if the tax rate goes up 10% again, you're not doing anything.
I think part of the discussion too is really how does this year's spending look like it's gonna finish up? You know, if it looks like we're gonna finish up at zero, that's one thing. If it looks like we're gonna end up to the plus $250,000, then maybe that takes this discussion in a different area.
Alan and I looked at it briefly. Go ahead, Alan.
So far, through the 19th of October, we have 22.5% remaining. That means we have one more week, basically, in October that we'll go through. So, depending what that is, I mean, it's hard to say.
Winter storms, plowing, you just don't
Yeah,
know what.
Yeah.
What are you
that's
What are you
the
projecting right now? If all spending goes as it's expected, do you have an idea as to where things stand the end of the year?
Based on the way it's gone all year, I'm guessing that we're gonna be in between the 2.5 range, three range
2.5 to 3%,
remaining.
which means what?
$120,000.
Okay.
How much?
120,000.
I mean,
The
it
numbers-
could be higher, but you don't know what.
I mean, that's not big money. Again, if we drain it all now, I'm worried about is next year if it goes up 10% again, you can't add any relief to the residents.
So what if
we have
it,
a catastrophic incident, we are 5% and that's it.
so what if instead of buying it down by 40 cents, we buy it down by 25 or something?
So that
like
was 50%, 50 cents we were talking about.
Oh, you're talking about 50? I don't
Yeah,
even
we
think
go
I
to
got to that
We
number.
can go to 40. We'll go to 40 and
Again,
be safe.
but is the extra 10 cents really worth enough to the individual residents and taking the risk in the future? So what you're doing is you're playing with today's money and forgetting about tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. We ought to put, instead of going 50, go to 40. I was figuring 50. 40 puts us more where we're in line where we should be. You know?
If we cut it down too low and something should happen, then we're gonna be standing here with
Well, it's
no
special,
explanation for it.
special
Where's the money
assessment.
coming from?
special assessment. You gotta go hit the residents up for a tax
Yeah,
assessment.
that's a big what if, then you do that. Then you
It
pay
is,
your
but
taxes,
again,
you pay
we
your
don't have
as
to
you
put
go.
ourselves in that what if we don't get too splurged too much at this point. I'm not against buying down the rate for the residents, right? It affects all of us. Bottom line is, we also, what's the due diligence going forward next year and the year after, especially if we don't have surplus at the end of each year to go back into this fund. It's the only way it grows.
So, Mrs. Accountant, what is your suggestion?
My suggestion was to be on the safe side, go with 30 cents. That would be just under 400,000. It's, I don't know, you guys have calculators with you. But I told you what the amount would be, 94 times 3.
3% basically of the rate.
Yeah. And that'll give us a small cushion if we need it. That'll give us 100,000.
I think that's only
That's
282,000.
280.
Yeah, I think we go 4 comfortably.
Well, 280 still gives us 140,000 cushion.
I was thinking the other
I tend to
option.
be very conservative.
Me too.
Right.
Me too. I mean,
Yeah, and
I
I think we gotta
mean,
go with
I
4.
worry we get a really tough winter, we got a really tight budget, and we overexpend next year, or we have nothing coming back in again. That's what I worry about. And if the tax rate goes up next year, we have nothing to offer the residents.
So, using the same numbers we were using before, if you're talking about a $550,000 house and a tax bill of about $10,000, buying it down by 30 cents would essentially save, or knock the tax bill down to $9,834. So $160 or so would be the savings to a taxpayer at a house that's assessed at $550,000 that happens to fall within those numbers.
He's a homeowner, go for broke, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, if you're just looking at personal, like, yeah, let's buy it all the way down.
Unless we had more control of the school, that's for sure. I mean, I
Oh,
don't think anyone
Well, listen,
anticipated, I don't
we've
think
had-
anybody
we've-
anticipated $1 million increase.
One of the
in
things
school.
we've had the last couple of years is that at least my sense is, and you guys would know better, is that there's been a bit more dialogue, at least the people from the school board have been, and the school budget committee have been wanting to come in here to talk about things in advance of budget season, votes, and so forth. And maybe one of the things we need to do is ask them to come in and put the question to them, what is it that you are doing to try and stabilize or drop how much the school taxes are? Because
did
that's
that
by far the
before.
biggest nut. But I mean, that's got to be a direct question. What are you trying to do about
They
that?
came in.
Or are you not?
And sat down and went through everything.
Yep.
Went through the
LaSalle's
budget,
been doing it
went
forever.
through the warrant articles and
Before.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing a great job, and ba-ba-ba-bee, and look,
Did that this year?
last year.
So what did we spend last year to buy down the tax rate?
We didn't.
Okay, and the year before?
I really don't know. I
We didn't have
vaguely
the-
recall
you-
that it
What's that?
was 80-something, like 83.
Yeah, see,
and-
in my 8 or 9 years I've been sitting here, the most we've ever spent is $300,000.
Yeah.
The tax rate. So
Yeah,
this is
we've kept
going
it
above
stable.
that, just new to me.
Oh, we got good coffers.
We've always had the same, this number's always stayed fairly consistent at 1.4. Until the last few years, we actually were over $2 million at one time. It's just that we don't have the surplus coming anymore like we used to. So that number's 2.2 million down to 1.4
I
million.
hear what you're saying, Bill. I hear what you're saying.
I know,
Yeah, no,
I just get nervous. I mean, going,
I think you're right.
Did any other towns get reevaluated the way we did?
everybody, right?
Well, everybody has to every 5 years. You know, I don't know specifically.
So, I mean, ours could have been on this certain date, and in 5 years from there, this one could have been down here, and 5 years from that. Or is it the state, does everybody 5 years, period, and
No,
it's-
no,
it's
we have it
uniform
done
across the board.
privately. We have it done privately, and the state supervises it, pulls our records.
the state
benchmarks.
requires every 5 years that the town be reevaluated?
For
Okay?
us,
Am I
yes.
right there so far?
That's for us.
How about the other towns? Danville, Sandown, Plastow?
Some have 5-year cycles, some have less.
Okay, and what I'm asking is there anybody else that's in the predicament we are with a 5-year cycle?
We don't know, Phil.
You don't
I mean, Sandown 2 years ago got murdered
they
with
went-
the
they
tax
went
rate.
crazy.
They went crazy.
And the
So-
school's on top of it.
Right.
Their school hits heavier than ours is.
The thing that concerns me more than anything else, and this is also going to impact us, is the elderly. In 2011, the last time we revaled, they got to a point, I mean, we have a lot of people living only on their social security. Some of whom are up at the lake, and they're gonna have a real problem, because lakefront is selling very, very high. A lot are in condos, and the condo land's gone high. So we're going to have a request for abatements. We're going to have a lot of hardship requests as well. And I was even going to suggest an increase, warrant article to increase the eligibility levels for discounts for older people. I mean, I'm talking maybe the 75 plus. Except for selectmen.
Easy come, easy go.
What do you guys want to
You
do?
want a motion to get the ball moving?
Yeah.
All right. I make a motion that we take $282,000 from the undesignated fund balance to buy down the tax rate by 30 cents.
Okay, you have a second?
Second?
Any further discussion? I'd like to see it be more, but I agree with Mr. Friel that we need to look to the future and not leave ourselves. I mean, you know, Budget Committee has been doing a better job of keeping
Absolutely.
down the budget and not put as much money in this coffer, so based on all those things, I all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0-0.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Snicer.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Barbara.
you. I'll send that to the state now, and hopefully we'll have a authorization. Also, if I may, just real quickly, I don't need an answer tonight, but I do want to give you the health insurance rates that I know. 5.1.
Increase?
Yep.
Mr. Morse, the issue of spending money out of the undesignated fund balance, though it's not on our agenda, do you want to Get in.
I think we ought to talk about it. Yeah, we should. Yeah, let's talk about when Barbara's done passing that up. So what is this you're passing out, Barbara?
I don't pass that.
What are we doing with that?
Handing out?
The handouts, this is the information for the health insurance. I recommend that we change the policy last year. I recommend we stick with what we have. If you want to look at it for a week, I don't know if you're meeting next week or not. Good. But let me know what your decision is after you've had a chance to look it over. Basically, as I said.
So can you wait 2 weeks?
Yeah, I can wait. The only issue is the people that have it, it affects their budget, so it's just, I don't expect you guys to do it tonight.
Okay.
I just got it today.
I'd just like to read through it before we,
You don't have
That
to
work
read,
for you,
just
Mr.
take my
Chairman?
word for it.
Yeah, we should read through it, yeah. We're not here next week because of trick or treat, is that right?
Halloween.
It's up to you, whether you, depending whether you vote on
Oh,
it.
we have to vote on it later on, okay.
Can we vote on that when Phil's not in the room?
No. I like the discussion.
On which one?
I want to put this in the book.
Canceling our meeting next week for trick or treat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, Barbara.
What else do we have? We have audience.
Oh, we have a couple,
Are they here to speak on anything?
yeah, we have a couple that are gonna talk, one's, Enrico's gonna talk on the 250th
Okay,
anniversary.
okay.
And then Dave is going to sit down and talk, along with myself, on the general government buildings, which are the two aspects left in the budget.
So that's what's,
You'll find them in your, I didn't update your budget books, I didn't have time, so they're in the assessing folder. Okay, the two,
okay.
okay?
Mr. Weymouth, would you like to come to the, speak with us?
So he showed up before you.
I'm gonna do Noriko here. Get out of here.
Oh, you got it?
What's that?
Get Noriko out of here first. Quick.
Noriko? Well, I was just going by the agenda.
Alan, where'd you say this
Yeah.
is?
Huh? In your
You can do
assessing.
Noriko first.
In assessing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You guys.
Noriko, would you like to come?
Yeah. Dave said he was going to be here a little later.
I was just going by the agenda, so.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
But he told me that he was going to come
It's
here
all
a
right.
little later. So.
Good evening.
Good evening, Noriko.
So I'm here to present 250th anniversary celebration budget. We discussing with the Patty Macumber, and she gave us two lines. One is for the operation expense for the 250th, and second line for the donation for the 250th. We created the expense rough budget. It's going to cost, and hopefully, and we're pretty confident we'll be able to offset by the donation money. But just in case, we like to set that budget as the expense amount and put on operating budget. So that's the amount would be the 12,300. Breakdown would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. Police details, that's a safety issue, and fireworks, and banners, and program books, that's the booklet, and also the last one is the some parade and some miscellaneous expense. Police detail, I'm not sure you have that breakdown. Adam, do they have this breakdown?
Not the actual breakdown for
Okay,
detail.
I spoke with the Chief Brackett and gave him details, suggested program and locations and hours, and he gave us the provide the how many officers we need, how many hours, the detail. So the amount came up to 6,300. So that's the police detail. Fireworks, we have 2-3 vendors. It's about 7,000 to 12,000 quote. So hopefully we settle at around $7,000 or $8,000. And banners, 30 locations, and each banner cost $250 each. Banners and brackets, so that's $7,500. And program booklet, I got one quote from L'Oreal Press, and it came up as $2,100, but we put it down $2,500 just in case, and a little extra.
Can't you sell ads in that?
We are going to. I just laying out there for the expense.
That's on the income end, Phil.
And the last one is parade and miscellaneous. If we ever need the deposit, any extra supplies, tent for the carnival, and some activity at the Pope Field, and also the what else does it have in there? The shuttle service. We're going to be 2 different locations of the Saturdays. We have carnival set up in the Woodlook Park, and also the common. We have the food and craft fairs, so people don't have to be parking back and forth. We try to get the shuttle service by the first students, and they said they're about $200 for the 8 hours of service. Again, hopefully there will be
200 for 8 hours?
200 for 8 hours, which is pretty reasonable. And hopefully
$200 total?
For 8 hours.
so they get
I want that
That's
phone
pretty,
number.
that's inexpensive. That's a deal.
very providing very
Taking
good
the
service.
airport.
That's they might be already given us as a donation, but hopefully they can be as a sponsor, be able to cover all that. So we are going to work on that one, all the expenses. But again, this is just layout there. That would be cost without any donation. So that's the expense part. And I go to the income. We already have $8,500 of the trust fund in the last 3 years. So that would be able to use that toward we have to pay now for a deposit for putting down some down payment for carnival or something like that. And 12.3, that would be, we are pretty confident we'll be able to cover that by the ad and sponsorship through the program in the booklet. We have a great resource by the Lions Club, and also the Adam has a lot of contact with the Knights of Columbus, and also we have a very good supportive nonprofit organization. So, and town business, country club, to freshwater farm. I'm sure they will support us in some kind of funding. So hopefully we can cover that 12.3, and rest of it 5,000. We're going to proposing to put in a warrant article to add to the trust fund. So again, this 5,000 would be iffy because if you don't pass, we don't pass. So again, that didn't pass. We have to really get more donation from the booklet. And again, we haven't even hit the our town people yet. So hopefully we'll be able to cover this. And
And I think, if you don't mind me interjecting
Yeah,
a
that's
few
fine.
things. From the expense standpoint, I feel pretty comfortable with the numbers that she has down here. We worked them kind of together. The ad book, for example, was a little lower, and we went and got some more pricing just to make sure. But that can vary too, depending upon, obviously, the more pages you have, but the more pages you have, the more advertising you're gonna get, so there's the obvious offsets. The banners, I think, are an important thing because they basically, the cost actually, half of the cost is actually the brackets themselves. And, but the idea is to start putting them up at the beginning, certainly in spring, You know, depending on what the weather's like, you could do it earlier, but, so that they're up all year. And we do it at the end of, for example, all the entrances to town, mainly in 121 on both ends, and East Road, and then up and down Academy, and probably Sawyer at certain parts at Salem Road and Providence Hill, whatever. So that's kind of the 30. 30 sounds like a lot, but it isn't. It's not really a lot. But they're nice if you've been in towns and seen banners up celebrating the anniversary, at least for all year long. I think it's nice to have. So I feel comfortable overall. I think the fireworks are a necessity in my mind. I think it's an important part of that type of a celebration. I think the 8,000 is a reasonable number. I think it's about in line with where Salem is, about 10,000, I think. Police details, we checked, was a little bit higher, and we kind of went back to them, and, you know, we kind of renegotiated some things. And so I feel comfortable with that aspect of it. And that's about in line also with other towns as to what they've spent in relation to the actual cost and the details of these type of events. So it's a pretty busy schedule. What's nice is the fact that most of the organizations in town have bought into taking a particular event over. So in fact, while it's somewhat of a profit maker for them, that is also an incentive for them to make a donation to help offset the overall costs. So that's where I feel very comfortable from the ad book donation perspective of getting the larger donations from the ad books. So my thought with the $5,000, I'm not necessarily comfortable from a warrant perspective unless the budget committee buys into it. Obviously, it helps if they do. My thought was to go to them and have the selectmen approve like a $5,000 expense in the line for the budget for it, and then kind of go from a standpoint of say, we either do a 5,000, or would you rather, you know, a budget committee, would you go along with us putting in a warrant, and would you support it? You know, it's just kind of a suggestion.
Question I have for you is the carnival, where is that going to be held?
The Woodlock Park.
Carnival?
Yes, the Woodlock Park.
Woodlock Park.
We are planning, but it's not finalized yet.
And fireworks?
Fireworks, 2 locations suggested. One is the Mr. Lewis's that big field, Cogswell Farm, and also the old Golden Browns.
Yeah, I think
Big area.
Chief Murphy had explained that he had met with the people from the fireworks. I don't know if all of you weren't here at the meeting that he was here, and presented the fact that he had gone around with the fireworks company all over town and looked at all different sites, and they made a recommendation that the best location from a standpoint of people being able to view throughout the town, in other words, they could be in the town center and everything else, was actually on, is it the Banville property, Gordon Brown's old property.
Oh, Gordon Brown?
Gordon Brown's, yeah.
Oh, I misheard that.
Across the street from
Yeah.
Golden. There's an open field, that's where that new development's going in.
And they felt that was the safest to do it, and
Talking across from the farmhouse,
Correct.
down the hill there?
No,
We could put
across the street from it or in his
I'm
backyard?
thinking in his backyard, that's what I
In
think.
the
in the
backyard of the
backyard,
farmhouse?
Back part, that's my.
Has anyone talked to that gentleman? I mean, he's got
Yeah,
animals.
no, he was involved in it, and he's given the okay to do it, actually, if we decided
Paul was saying that he'll let you use his property to set off fireworks?
Yes.
So where would people congregate then to watch it?
That's the part I thought the Cogswell Farm piece would make a perfect piece, because there's all kinds of parking around it, and you can actually walk and get up close to it if you want.
Yeah, we are thinking at the beginning. Then firework company thought it's that another location came up. So
Right.
So then the question's, where are we going to put people?
Where are you going to park? Where are you
Or can you be anywhere and see it?
Well, that's
Well,
what I think
well-
he was thinking about.
I mean, that's the same as being
Brown's
close
Club.
to it. People who are, all these people are involved, and I mean, when you're close to fireworks, it makes a big difference than if you
Yeah, right.
sit here and watch it. So
Yeah.
might as well watch it on TV. It's just my opinion.
No, I'm with you.
You could park, you could park where the Labor Day car show parks right there in
Yeah,
that
right,
field.
right.
You park at the church, you can park here, park at the school. I mean, it's right down,
That's we.
right down Leroy Avenue here.
Yes.
It's so close.
That's where originally our thought process was. So
Yeah.
that's why all the program and at 4:00, then Congregation Church having chili cook-off right after that, so people can go there and have a dinner there.
Yeah.
Then in the dusk we can have the
They close
fireworks right
121 right
there.
off.
So
Send them up Maple Avenue.
It's not cast in stone. It's
Was
that
Pope
was-
Field-
I'm just
considered
thinking out loud. Just-
Yeah.
I mean, it would be so awesome.
Was Pope Field considered as a place to shoot off the fireworks from?
not sure. I mean, it's
of
because
parking.
there's so many houses close to that area.
It's not that reason.
Parking.
Where do you
No
park?
more than Cogswell Farm. I mean,
Yeah.
Cogswell Farm is just as close.
I mean, residents wouldn't be that wouldn't be a concern of mine, but,
At the Woodlock Park.
right.
You have enough
Just
space.
Parking is tough there.
Okay.
Yeah,
You'd have to park on the ball fields to get any parking.
Right. So again, it's determining your location would be another challenge.
Well,
Right.
we are part of the school district. We go to school.
say it again.
We're school?
Which school?
Timberlane?
Yeah, Timberlane.
Out back.
We could. That just takes leaving town to do it. I mean, I'm sure that could be worked out, but
Just thought out. Just thinking out loud.
I'm trying to remember. Did Plasto?
Presto, the old home
Plasto's
day.
had done it at the park before, but I think didn't Plasto this past year shoot him off at Timberlane?
Has been at the high school, yes.
Out back, there's plenty of safe, a lot of
Yeah.
parking.
And you can see from the.
You
up-
might,
up in
might
top of
consider
the-
that as on your list. I mean,
The only issue is leaving town there.
leaving
It's
town.
a quarter of a mile from the town line to where the ball field is or what have you.
Yeah, it's
Quarter of
close.
a mile.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's close. I mean, Performing Arts is there. Maybe you could even have one of your functions there.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
maybe a Saturday function. You'd have to work it out with the school, see if it would work. but-
Might get a lot more people there than you.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if you run into the issue then instead of dealing with Atkinson PD, essentially Plasto PD is taking the lead on it.
Yes, that's.
It's all right. It's not a big deal. You know, for that one event.
Especially if you had some donation buckets that everybody could come and throw money in.
Yeah, Harold, you go around with a bucket, help us out.
Okay, Phil.
Okay, we will finalizing all the.
So that kind of
programs
went, the
soon,
conversation went afield, but
We're throwing suggestions out at this
but
point.
I would definitely bring the suggestion
We're
to
not making
your
decisions
meeting.
here. I
No.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
I like Cogswell Farm best myself. It's in the center of town. There's a lot going on. What day were we doing fireworks? We doing the
I
same
was
day as the
busy-
car show?
No, it's a Saturday evening.
It's Saturday evening.
When's the
second-
car
car show's Monday.
Special Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the road race is when?
Road race is Thursday.
Thursday.
They have the older one Thursday.
Road race is Thursday, and I believe school starts that day, Thursday, I believe. So Friday we have, and just the evening, because school's already in session, we're gonna have the evening activity at the Woodlock Park. Family mediations, planning some battle band and some block party, that kind of a theme of the food and that kind of stuff. And also we are seeking for another group to do maybe a teen dance under the tent, that kind of activity. And Saturday would be the carnival. We're actually seeking vendor to supply that or the carnival rides and the workers and stuff, because we just don't have the manpower for it.
Right.
And so they actually set up, they take the money, then they give a portion of the money to town. So we that kind of looking into that kind of a venue. And the Sunday in the afternoon we have a parade. After the church service is done, we're going to have that afternoon, 2 o'clock, starting at carnival and a bit race, and after that. And Monday is a car show. Towards the end of the car show, we're going to have the concert at the courtyard. And followed by
what?
At the library.
library, the courtyard.
Have what at the library?
Concert.
Concert, okay.
Yes. Then
Then we're gonna have the closing events after
Yeah.
in the common.
at the common, it's close to close to the center. And in meantime, Lions Club probably be able to extend the barbecue part, so it's the offering the food and stuff for the people to show up later on. So that's kind of try to finalizing activities that's so far the proposed the events and time frame.
Oh, is this enough money, or should we bump this up some?
Well, I
A
feel
lot of this is gonna come back in the form of revenue.
it's gonna come back in form of revenue. It's the $5,000 that I'm a little, concerned about from a standpoint of I'd like to see the town step up to it, to get it, but
I think so. I think just
Yeah.
just put it in the budget here.
that's what I think we should do.
Yeah.
As opposed to in a warrant article?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
I mean, there's a lot going on, and, and you're definitely gonna get revenue back, so.
Yeah.
The only reason you put it in the budget is because you have to.
Yeah.
So putting a budget, the 5,000. Okay, as far as the donation, every time I receive donation, need to bring up to the board to get approved?
No,
Anything under 5,000, you can accept donations under 5,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
we accept donations every Monday night here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everything over $5,000, you're gonna have a public hearing to accept it.
Right. So yes,
The-
donations need to be accepted by us.
the way I understand it, all right, and I could be wrong, you correct me if I'm.
Yes.
The way you understand it is the same way. In talking with Patty and with DRA, this is, matter of fact, if you remember the conversation, Harold, you and I were at that seminar. And they talked about the fact that where this comes under, for example, the Recreation Commission, and you the board authorized the Recreation Commission to coordinate the event. It basically falls into this kind of the same category as the Sun and Fun does. So from the fees or expenses and income that you have coming in, I don't know, do they have to come to you every time there's something, or how does that work?
All I know is that any donations over $5,000 has to have a public hearing.
Weigh in on this conversation.
Okay.
So,
Can you join us for a second?
Yeah, how dare you put your coat on?
so say we received the $1,000 from Lions Club, $1,000 from Civic Club.
Thanks, man.
Should I bring that donation to the meeting?
So $1,000?
If
Oh,
we receive
no,
that.
it's
so-
5,000.
No. We
Okay.
accept donations here. The question, Barbara, is, when Noriko gets the donations for the 250th, does the Board of Selectmen have to accept the donations?
It's not a trust fund, you were going to.
No, it's not a trust fund, and I would say only $5,000 or more.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And it should go through the,
So because we do have a donation account we have,
right,
so, okay.
right.
So that money comes in and goes to Patty, though?
Yes,
Yes.
Be the
yes.
general
Oh, yeah.
fund.
And she keeps track of it.
Yes.
Do we have a separate fund set up for this?
Yes, we are going to have that donation account.
Oh, so then it'll go
And
into
we are
that
going to
account.
use that only for the 1 year, and the end of the year 2017, we need to use it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has,
Have to be 1 year to
already
Otherwise, it
created
goes
that?
back in the general fund.
Yeah, it's already been created.
create it, yes.
Yeah. I thought I put a copy of the letter, maybe not.
Yeah, it's right here.
If you don't spend it all at the end of the year,
It's gotta
then
go
you
back
get
to
nothing out of it at all. It just goes into the
general fund, yes. Yes. So,
This goes back a ways when we set it up originally.
Quite a bit of information, Rico. It's great. You've done a
oh,
good
thank
job.
you, thank you. But really love to have this really great event for the town of Atkinson, so. And our committee is working very hard in very limited time, so little moving slower than we anticipating, but hopefully everything is getting done.
Amen.
Okay,
All right, thank you. Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you, Nuri.
take a motion on this?
Really isn't anything finalized there to vote on that I'm aware of.
This is their budget.
Oh, she's presenting the budget.
I don't even know what number we'd vote on here.
Yeah, there'll only be $5,000 is all you'd need to, actually.
What? I thought 28.5 is the budget, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not really, when you do Sun and Fun, I'm trying to be,
I mean, you're
way
budgeting
she-
$25,800?
Put the money in.
Right, that's what we're talking about here. We gotta put this in our budget so they can get paid out of our budget, but the money's coming back in through all these
Offset.
donations.
But it goes into the general fund, doesn't go against the original amount that was in the budget.
no, that's not,
So this trust fund, 8,500
No.
in the trust funds, what's that? That's the money we've already received?
that's already, yes,
that
that's
money we
money
voted
we've
already
already,
set aside?
already set aside.
Yes.
Okay. So the voters already set that aside.
Yes,
So we're not gonna raise and appropriate that 8,500, it's already there.
That's right.
But the
Correct.
budget number
That's right.
still needs to be 25,800.
So that would be difference with 17.3. What got supposed to?
there we go. When you budget Sun and Fun, just refresh my memory.
Yes.
Do we budget the line item for Sun and Fun, or it's a wash, it's a pass-through, right?
We only have a budget line for the salary and supplies.
Right.
We do not have any budget expense as the, how much we expecting. We
Okay.
don't have that in the budget.
My understanding from the conversation that Patty had with DRA, and my understanding from that seminar that we went to, was that it's handled exactly as Sun and Fun is handled, in that it's basically, she sets up the two accounts, and the money just kind of balances,
How
filters through
can she
it.
spend money for something if the money hasn't been budgeted or it's not in the donation?
How do you do it for Sun and Fun?
What's budgeted?
It's all budgeted.
Budget.
So budget. You
We
raise
don't
and
have-
Well, that's
appropriate.
what I asked the
You
question.
raise and appropriate.
That's why I asked
Right,
the
we do not
question.
have that donation line for Sun and Fun, so it's all budget lines.
Yeah,
All budget.
okay, well, that's why I asked.
Yes,
That's why
all
I
the
asked that.
income
I was trying
coming
to
in
refresh
is
my
go
memory
to
on it.
the general fund.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
revenue
we
in the
should
general.
have.
Okay, that's what I was trying to,
Expenditure.
that's what I was asking, whether that
We
was
should
filtered
have
out.
put the budget line as an expecting expense as a 17.3.
Well, you'd have to do the total amount then.
She's
Hold
already
on.
got
That's not-
8,500 in
The
it.
$8,500 was put into a warrant. Was it giving us the permission to spend it?
Yes.
Yes.
So it doesn't need to go on our budget then. We already have.
The
permission to spend
8,500's in there with authorization.
Right,
it.
so
We already have permission to spend that.
Right.
Okay.
So we don't need to put that in the budget.
Right.
Okay, so in essence,
So-
you're talking 17.3 then.
Right.
so 20 grand.
How does that get flushed when you anticipate spending that, but you're not raising and appropriating that much?
You have to raise and appropriate, or otherwise you can't
Gross
use any of
budget.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna raise and appropriate. We're just gonna have a revenue, we're just gonna have a revenue to offset it.
Got it.
But it
So the
goes on
whole
the
thing's gonna be raised
It's
and
not like
appropriated.
even you building permits.
Except for the 8,500 that's already in.
So this,
You know, I said Sun and Fun, but it really, it's more the Atkinson Community Center donations and things like that, right? For all the events that you have. How do you handle all the events that go on at the community center? For example, when you rent out the hall, when you rent it, and all those, how do you handle those?
Rental
That's
fee.
what I'm referring to.
Rental fee, everything goes to general fund as well.
Okay,
Operating budget expense, all the money for the expense for the maintenance and all that, it's in the
Right.
budget. The recreation programs, the trips, and those are using, when I purchase tickets, food and all that associated with the trips, I use a revolving account. And only using the budget line expense for the bus fee we have part of the bus, I budgeted from the operating budget. So all the expense on the budget line, it's managed by the budget.
So,
So
question to us, we just got to approve an amount, right? So,
yeah.
I'll make a motion for 20
Oh,
grand.
I think
I'm still,
Alan's fishing for is a revolving account.
yeah, that's what my understanding is
Do we wanna
is
set
what
a
it
revolving
is.
account up for this, so.
I think
Why?
town meeting has to
You
do
don't
that.
want to, no, because when it's spent, it's spent. Whatever you don't spend goes back in the general fund. After that, it's gone, it's over, and you do this again next time around. You don't set up a revolving account.
We had one similar to that on gas for the police department. We had a line item of so much money, and then the gas station that we were dealing with gave us back 18 cents a gallon. And we added up the slips, the total amount of gallons that we used, times, they say, the 18 cents equals this. That money went right back into the gas line. We did set that up so that it wouldn't go
Yeah,
in.
but this is a one-time thing. This is one, you're gonna do this again for what, 20 years, 25 years?
25.
250 years? But the
Won't
point
be
is,
our problem.
the point is, so, right, exactly, so I don't wanna get complicated. We're trying to account for this year after years. It's a one-time deal, so
Right.
we raise and appropriate 20 grand for this line in the budget. You already got 8 grand somewhere else that we're not worrying about. That's it. Budget committee approves it, we're finished.
Right. Yes,
Short and sweet.
yes, Barbara.
The only comment, I don't know, but I believe revolving accounts have to be approved by town meeting.
Right, we don't wanna do one.
So we don't-
I understand that.
Okay, well
That's
then-
my
Okay.
I
point.
think you're 100% right, right?
Wow,
Okay.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
It goes on perpetually, so the town has to approve it.
yeah,
This is we're raising appropriate for this year only.
right.
It's spent, it's spent, it's not, it's not.
Okay, we need
Okay.
a motion then.
So,
20,000.
20
I
grand,
get to go home.
is the,
gross, $20,000. That's my motion.
Second?
Do we have a separate account set up, or are we using this line item?
You want to set up this account?
They are set up. These two
They
already
lines,
set up two
these
accounts,
two
yes.
accounts are set up.
So is this one budget line or two?
Two budget lines,
There's
one
two.
for the expense and another line for the donation.
Oh, yeah, we don't care about
So-
the donation.
We
So
don't
do
care
we
about it.
need to
We're
approve a number
expenses
for the
only.
expense
We're
line?
expense guys, right? So
Yeah.
you set up the line 45895-680.00
Yes.
in the amount of $20,000.
Right.
Right.
That's my motion.
And I
Right.
second it.
Okay. Any more discussion?
does that solve everything that's being sought and is needed? 20,000?
Yes, it's. a little
Because the
bit-
85
85,
is
we already
over and
have,
above.
we already have permission to spend the 85.
Right,
Okay.
good.
So it's a total of 28.5.
28.5 total.
I was asking 17.3, but 20 would be great.
Yeah.
Plenty of
Well,
beans.
you know,
Yeah.
like you said, it's going to
Yeah,
go
you know,
fast.
it's gonna be all over.
It's gonna be
the place.
another odds and end we probably
Yeah.
has and something coming up.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank
Enrico.
you, thank you.
Okay, Dave,
David.
good thing we took the quick one first.
Sorry, Dave.
Better be fast.
You have any questions? If you don't have any questions, I'm all done.
Dave, do you have a
I haven't had a chance to look at this, but
What's the current one?
Make sure I have my copy with us.
As submitted.
As submitted.
are we supposed to have two budget sheets?
There's 2 pages to it.
I have two of the same. I have page 1 of 2. We might have 2 pages of,
What'd you get?
what do you got? I don't need the last one, right?
Well, last is the total, but I mean, there's all the itemized.
I don't need that one.
Okay. You got the one with the notes.
Right, but I don't have the second page of that one, see? Does anyone else have two? Jason? You have to
Two
have
pages, is that what you're talking? Yeah.
Yeah, page 1 and page 2?
Assessing?
Yeah.
You got page 1, you got page 2.
Okay.
What's it doing under
Would
assessing?
you like my page too, sir?
Yeah, give it to him.
I'm just like, might be, yep, he's got his.
I got it all.
Yeah, just give me one page too.
It's only got 50%.
Okay.
Leave it to give it to the chairman, right?
Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter.
What's it doing under
I'm
assessing?
just another selectman, huh?
What's it doing under assessing? I'd never found it.
He told us a minute ago it was there, huh?
Oh,
You know where to put it, I guess.
I must have missed that.
Gotta stay awake, Bill. What are we looking at, Dave?
Which part of it?
You're up 14%?
That's, this is the first time I've seen this part of it too, and yes, that'd be correct.
%? We see 14%.
Bottom line, on the bottom line, last
Bottom of
page.
page 2?
Yes. Bottom right column.
Mine says
Wait a
11.67%.
minute. Wait a minute. What do you got, Dave?
It's just
No,
14.
no, it should be 14.36.
It is, but his says 11.
That's because I got that copy one without the thing.
We'll
Can
get
I-
there.
Can I go home and go to bed after I have my training and stuff?
You're up that much in general buildings, huh?
Well, we've had some issues and with this year, we've got two major, with one of family mediation, not family mediation, yeah, family mediation, one of them, but we haven't done that yet. But the Kimball House for the bathroom, that was the biggest issue we had. That was unanticipated. Thank you. And then we had to take money out of just about all the other lines to accommodate that. And then with we have at the family mediation across the street, we either have to replace the oil tank on the outside or replace the whole thing, because the oil tank is leaking.
I thought that was gonna be done a long time ago.
That's only come about this year. Came about in the summertime when they were having it serviced and they found the oil leak. Actually, it was springtime, but at the end of the season when
The
we
leak's
do our
been
service.
repaired though, right?
The leak has been stopped, but
Okay.
when they do the leakage, it condemns the tank and you can't fill the tank. And that was, to me, that was another project, that was a project for this year that we have to do an emergency type of expenditure for that. And I wasn't really ready to talk about that tonight.
Well, it's on this list,
What is?
payment mediation.
Yes.
Okay.
That's part, if you read that whole line on the family, it's under 16, I guess you could read 16. All right, I didn't
Dave-
bring it in, but.
Dave, what I did, and I apologize because I was out there. What I did is, what they have is the budget spreadsheet with, as we went over this morning,
Yep.
with the numbers assigned to them, and all I did is I typed them up instead of the handwritten stuff that we had. So this should follow the budget down from number one all the way through each one of the categories. The list that you have, this one here, follow
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I'm looking at it.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I know where you're at.
Okay, I want to make sure they did.
Yeah.
So you got electricity up by roughly 2,000. And the reason for it is,
Well, electricity was staying the same. We don't know what the actual kilowatt's gonna cost us this year. We haven't got any price back from them yet. We keep it at the same line as this year.
There is actually a very slight increase on kilowatt hours, but it's minimal.
That'd be number one on your list.
right. But it is an increase. But go ahead. Okay.
So
We didn't increase the line. We may have an increase in kilowatt hours, but we're not increasing the line.
Right.
It's level funded.
It is?
Correct.
12,101 last year. This year, budget proposed 12,101.
Gotcha. I was looking at the wrong line. Thank you.
It's on the town hall. You're gonna have that issue with all the buildings that have electricity bills to them.
So you got the septic system or the general maintenance is up 60%.
Under what building?
Town hall.
The
repairs.
septic system is up because the actual cost is $240 to have the system pumped. The budget committee in their infinite wisdom last year decided to give us only $150 for some of the buildings. I've asked Patty to put that particular septic line into all the buildings so that we can have a following of what we spend for septic. The lines that, the buildings that did not have that line in them, I had to take it out of my general maintenance line, which doesn't really reflect what's going to septic. Then that's basically a fixed cost per each time it's
building.
pumped.
So this 240, from 150 up to 240, it's just,
Well, if you look at year 215, I proposed 240.
yeah.
The budget committee gave me $150. That's one of the things that they cut on the buildings lines.
Well, that's something, if it has to be done, it has to be done. You can't cut that.
Correct, and what I had to do is take the excess out of my general maintenance line. When I had the tanks, the tanks get pumped next month. And then I've always had to take that money from the buildings that don't have that line out of my general maintenance line.
If you needed X number of dollars to do something that absolutely unequivocally has to be done each year, and they cut it down, then you should go back to the budget committee and say, hey, you cut this, but this is what we need to spend. Where are we gonna get the money?
That's what I try, you should be on the budget committee.
Oh, no. Been there, done that.
I'll make that motion.
We try to explain that to them, but they, you know, they want 0% and, or nothing, whatever. The general maintenance line, we're keeping it the same price, 6,500 for this building.
That's just for this building.
Correct.
That's just for this building.
Correct.
The main thing we do need is general painting in a lot of the offices and the like.
Didn't we have a trustee doing that last year?
Sure did. Painted the whole building almost.
This whole building?
The issue with the trustees was that we had one here,
It's very nice, actually.
and he was inside,
They
and
get caught smoking.
he got caught with his wife,
Ooh.
or a young lady in the parking lot, presuming it was his wife. And that was when Chief Brackett.
Generously presumptive of you,
Yeah,
Dave.
well, I'll try. That was when Chief Brackett chopped the program off for going out to other buildings. And we have not had another trustee here since that issue happened.
What a
last.
shame. They
So we
did
could-
so
we can
much.
ask-
They have a trustee though, but we don't have one.
We could ask Chief Brackett to revisit that for us.
Oh, I'm sure we could. I mean, he's been going, there seems to be a high turnover down there of the trustees in this building. And the
Just
last,
can't find good trustees like he used to.
true. They're not reliable.
There's plenty of
Generally,
good ones.
wherever the trustee
I
goes,
don't
there's
know.
supposed to be a police officer watching them. But they give the responsibility to the town
Yeah,
to keep an eye on them.
yeah,
But this guy
Right.
snuck through the cracks, I guess.
yeah.
Well, I know, I can remember the issue vividly when Bill Ennis was looking for, couldn't find him.
All right, let's
Okay,
skip the rest of that
yeah,
conversation.
All right, okay.
Move on.
I opened the door, sorry.
The increase in line, new equipment line was increased, and if you look at item number 5 under Town Hall, those are the two explanations for it.
The chairs for the planning office are horrible if you've seen them lately. Ashamed to even anyone
You
goes
have-
in there.
Do you have estimates and stuff, or something to show?
Approximately what I've had them, look at different ones and like, but I mean, you're figuring around $100 a piece, you can get a half decent chair.
Okay.
$100 you won't get anything to hold up over there. Down in Haverhill, they got this place down there that sells old furniture.
Yeah,
for the office,
we've got some of that from them before.
and they give you fantastic
Yes,
deals.
yeah.
Things are changing now, though. I'll get used to it.
But that's not to replace these chairs up
No,
here,
no,
right?
no,
Oh,
no.
Good.
No, this is
The
in
ones
the
in the
planning
planning
office. Yeah.
The blue ones?
Yeah.
The blue ones.
Do they just need to be reupholstered?
No, I
The
tried.
frames are in good shape, right?
You couldn't
The
have it
whole-
done
the whole
for what
things
it
are
was.
fall- they're
I
falling
actually
apart.
went back to the manufacturer even to look and see
All right.
if we could do it.
Move on, move on.
Under the town garage,
You got a $1,300 increase on mileage? That's based on what?
I don't know why it was cut to start with. If you look at the 215, what we expended, I had tried to expend the same amount,
Okay,
but what the 22 is what they gave me.
yeah.
What,
Does that go to you?
yes, sir, for my mileage.
Okay,
I'm just trying to get it back to where it should have been in the first place.
yeah. You actually put that many miles on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's the same as Teddy with his truck.
If you look at my timesheet,
Damn, that's-
if you look at my timesheet, when I submit every week, the number that's circled at the bottom of each day
Your
is the
mileage?
number of miles I do for that day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trips to Home Depot and things
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I
Okay.
actually checked them today.
Where are you at, Dave? You were out of line here. What line
I was just gonna go down to the next, I don't, we didn't mark that on my sheet, that's why I skipped it, that's all. I went down to the town garage.
Okay.
Back, and if you look at, we've increased it, to cover on the other professional services to cover our service contract for garage doors. And the alarm systems we have and other professional services that we have to have done in that building.
Is that a new contract, or why is that any different than the year before?
We haven't had a contract before, and the companies I deal with now want a service contract to come in and do these things with the expenditure of more than parts are over and above that.
So what would we need a service contract for?
I'm budgeting for anticipated, you know, I mean, because I can't tell them to not do me a service contract. I can't, because they won't come now just to do it when I want them to do it. I'm trying a different company right now to see if they will do a point of service when they do it. I haven't got any word back on price yet for that, so I have to anticipate if I have to go to the contract, because the fire station has got nine doors on it, and I got a total of 11 overhead doors, not counting the one on each road.
We're only talking about the town garage here.
Correct. I mean, this is the contract. Service contract was for both buildings, so I put money into both buildings
Okay.
to help cover for that.
Yep. So what does the service just give you?
It gives me, lets me
Come
call
once a
them
year
up,
and grease
gives
the
me-
doors and?
Yeah, just look at them. Basically, make sure everything's working, test them, and check them out. If I need parts for them, that's over and above. For this particular company to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Under the general maintenance, for the same building, we still need to replace the lighting. There's 8-foot fluorescent tubes in there. They're not making the 8-foot fluorescent tubes anymore, so we did want to get in there with the waterproof fixtures because there's a high content of moisture in that building. And we had tried to budget last year for this year to have it painted by in-house with scaffolding rented, and that's what we're going to try to do this year, this winter.
The walls are all painted, it looks nice, it's just
Walls are painted and repaired, correct.
the ceiling guy to do it.
Ceiling is in rough shape, but I want to get the lights done first. But we need the okay and the money to do that, and not having it with these other things that happened this year, we've kind of gone down the tubes with that.
Okay.
Moving down to the police station, under general maintenance. Look at number 8. We did, well, I'm sorry, if you look at number 3, septic system there is back in there for this now. And it's funded now with the 240.
Is that just one cleaning for the
Correct, we do it once a year.
police department?
Correct.
It's $240?
That's the individual charge for a building, yes.
Generally, it's around $175.
When
were you there? It's gone,
Has this gone out to bid? Does this go out to bid, or do you have the same company do it all?
the same company do it.
Who does it for you?
Pete's does it. And
So if he comes and does several bills at a time, does he give you a better rate?
he works on gallonage,
Okay. That's what these numbers are based on?
yes.
Yep.
We've actually come down a little bit on the general maintenance for the PD. I don't know exactly why.
That's because we took out the 240.
Yeah, we
for
took out the
septic.
we would take, the ones that we did, we could take out the 240 and put it into that line. We took out the 240 out of the general maintenance line because that's where the expenditure was coming from.
So it was level funded, but we just explained what we planned on doing with the 11,185, the
Gotcha.
bulk of it.
Okay.
Fire station, the OPS, the other OPS line, that's why the increase in that is for basically, is only for the contract, for the doors.
If you get a service contract, the service contract is generally, once a year, they'll check it and do this and do that, and if something is needed for it, it's included.
No, not with what these guys have written. That's what bothered me to no extent with this particular proposal. That's why I'm talking to a different company right now to find out what they do. We just haven't got anything back from them yet.
Because when we had it down at the PD, we had a service contract with them, and everything was covered under the
Right,
service
right,
contract.
right. And they weren't covering parts or repairs or anything like that.
I'd look around.
Well, I am, yeah. Septic system is added, that's where that came from. General maintenance, the fire station, we're still gonna try to get that second floor done. We haven't been able to do that. And we have exterior siding that's, underneath the vinyl siding is rotting out. We got 2 spots of that. on the window side of the building, which is on the east side, east side of the building. And basically, we found, when I had a contractor look at it, we pulled some siding away from the building, and water's coming down from the windows, which weren't installed correctly. So we have a proposal of per window, if we want to do it, but just for the repairs was $2,000. For pulling siding off, replacing sheeting and whatever it needed.
If it wasn't done right, there's no fallback on the person that
I
installed it?
couldn't get anything out of them for the roof when we had a bad roof. This is Wixon, I think, no, Witcher is the one that built the building. It's 16 years old, so you're gonna be doing good to find, if you even find them anymore. But all the windows on that, and that's the only side with the windows, and all the windows on the first level are installed the same way. We only did pricing for the two repairs. If we did the windows and if we did put them in correctly without taking the windows out and try to get back where it should be, it was like $300 or $350 per window to pull the siding off, do it right, and put it back on, put it back together. Basically, it was mostly for labor.
Okay, next, Dave.
Okay, library. We hadn't had rodent control in that line, that's why it went up $200. We seem to have four-legged little critters come into the building every so often.
Next.
How do we pay for that? How do we pay for that this year?
It came out of my general
Expenditure.
maintenance.
Was it over?
Came out of your budget?
Yeah, oh yeah, it always comes out of, all that stuff comes out of my budget, yes.
It was an over an expenditure, though.
Yeah, I think so.
We approved an
For the
over-
library it was, and it came out of, yeah.
Because we're talking about the library.
Oh, did she pay for that?
Yeah.
She shouldn't have.
That's what I was wondering.
No, she should not have paid for that, sorry. I was kind of waiting for the bill for that, but,
Don't wait for it, it's already been paid.
Yeah.
all right, well. But that's what that was for. I should have paid for that, yes. Back to the septic again, we went to 240, I'm sorry. Down to general maintenance under the library. One of the things we haven't done, which we've been trying to get done too, is pressure wash the outside of the building in the areas that it really needs it. And that was where that increase came from. Kimball House, pretty much keeping everything the same down to that point. We didn't have the septic line in that building. That's on page 2 now. That's added in there. Under the general maintenance line, you'll notice there's increases on that. Look at your the readout sheet. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, excuse me, Dave,
Yeah.
the general maintenance in the library, didn't we put money in for the pressure washing last year?
We might, for this year, we probably did, but with what's happened so far this year with that bathroom, we had to go through, Bill and I went through 5 building lines to come up with the money to pay for that.
I
That's
thought
fine.
DRA gave us the permission to take that out of our fund.
If we needed to.
Well, that's only your
We
bottom, once
pulled
your
back-
bottom
we pulled
line.
back on that.
Yeah, once your bottom line, from my understanding of what they authorized, the bottom line of the $25 million budget we have, if we go over that line,
25 million?
well, I don't know, whatever we have for the town's budget.
4 million.
4 million,
4 million.
right, 4 million. If we go over 4 million, the 4,012,000, they're authorizing the 12,000 after we make it to the bottom line of that
I don't know
line.
if they-
Not just the buildings line. It's, I think it goes all the way to the end of the world.
Yes, Jason.
Or am I wrong?
What did the Kimball House repairs end up being? And did all of that end up coming out of your budget?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd say 22, 23,000 just for that.
Totally.
That's for rebuilding that bathroom downstairs. Well, actually, building a bathroom downstairs.
So, what's being done without to offset that?
That's what he's talking about. He's went
Well,
through-
most everything else that we planned, the floor at the Kimball House, Community Center, which we haven't got to yet. The
Fire
flooring-
station?
Flooring at the fire station,
Right.
work at the pressure washing. And
At the library?
We've taken it out of that. And we've come up with a plan somewhat to take money out of whatever's left for the repairs across the street when we talk about that another time.
Got it. Thanks, Dave.
So Dave, all I was getting at, all I was getting at is, the money was in last year's budget, so if you add more into it this year, you're kinda double dipping, is all I'm saying.
Well, well,
Even though we haven't done it, the money in last year's budget was there for it,
for this year,
for this year.
a lot of the stuff was there, but we're having to rebudget again because it went away.
But
Because we didn't
this
do.
budget
we
number
did-
that's in our sheet, the budget number in our sheet is reflected the fact that we were gonna pressure wash, is all I'm
Correct.
saying.
It
We don't
did.
need to increase it again. We don't necessarily need to increase that line again.
Wait a minute. What line are you on?
Which one
Are you on the
is he
library
referring
now?
to?
General maintenance for the library, for instance.
Well,
Library.
I don't think the library was part of that.
I don't know if it was either, I can't
Library
remember.
wasn't part of the
But
Kimball House.
the pressure washing is included in that line, and the
I'm
painting
not
of
talking about
that,
what got done, I'm not talking about expended, I'm talking about what we budgeted last year. We budgeted $3,500 last year for.
I don't have that in front of me for what the actual, maybe I do.
I can tell you exactly what's well so far.
That was not budgeted last year for this. 'Cause we had 3,500 without the pressure washing,
Okay,
yeah.
very good,
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
very good, move on.
We were at the police, Kimball House? Kimball
Oh,
House,
it was
Kimball House, yes.
level funded so far, anyway.
Except for the, we should be at number 13 on your list.
Yep,
We do need to, the front stairs, steps on that porch in the front need to be totally rebuilt. And that includes a price, the reflection of the price for that.
We
Why do the
have,
stairs
we have
need to-
gotten estimates on that.
Yes, we
we
do.
need to use the front stairs? The back door there, we use, don't we?
They use the back door, they go out there, and the people go in the front or the back, especially for this, what's coming up for this year.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
This
Next year.
This year,
But
the
it
budget
was-
is.
Because that's probably gonna be one of the busiest buildings in town because of the 250th and its historical value of what it has in the building. And I'm sure the ladies would agree that it's gonna be extra busy through the summertime.
Dave, what's left as far as painting goes of the exterior of that building?
We still got two sides to deal with yet. We only painted two sides and a little touch-up this year. The original plan,
Was one side every year, right?
Yeah.
yes, and we were 3 years behind this year.
So two sides have been done over 5 years? Or thereabouts?
Yes, basically,
So this,
yeah.
this amount that you're talking about would take care of the rest of the
The
building?
remaining two sides.
The remaining two sides.
Yes, it would.
Which two sides are left to be done?
The entire, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, you.
The entire back and actually the front. What we did this year, I asked them to do is just quickly touch up anything that was, bad. And they just kind of touched it up when they were doing the sides. So it may look good from the distance. but
So the front and the back.
Front and
Front and
back,
back, yeah.
basically.
You
It's
remember-
crazy that it takes 7 years to paint a four-sided building.
Remember Edna Wilson?
All right.
Oh, yes.
Edna Wilson always said, when you're painting your house, you start the back first. You don't do the front. If you do the front first, you'll never get to the back.
That's true.
And the reason we left the back was because we thought people didn't see it from the street. But then when everyone comes to an event, they go around the back, so.
And the car show is what prime example, because they all sit in the back on that big field there.
Right.
Yeah, the back's horrible right now.
Okay. Septic system at the park has gone up, yeah, we put up to the 240, Woodlock Park, under Hearst House. We've level funded each one of those other items there. Septic system at the community center, we're keeping that the same, I believe, 14, yeah. And that's, he put 14, he's just showing you that the reason why it's more is we pump the grease trap four times a year.
Dave, can I back up for a minute?
Go ahead.
What is the Hearst House?
The Hearst House is in the cemetery. It's what they used to keep the,
Bodies.
well, that and the vehicle for transportation of the bodies.
Got it.
Yeah. And actually, there's three buildings up at the at the cemetery now.
How did it ever get stuck with Woodlock Park? That should have been put with the Kimball.
I have no clue.
Probably could have guessed where that was. When I saw Woodlock and Hearst together, I couldn't.
I have no clue how it
Figure
got
that
there.
out.
Shouldn't have been the cemetery.
That was pre-P.
Right.
Well, they don't have a building at another line, right?
It should be, because
Well, we could,
maintenance out there.
we could work that next year. I can ask Patty to see if we can come
Break
up
that
with a
out to
line.
cemetery.
Yeah, put it out under, yeah. I can ask her if she can come up with something for that, yeah.
Well, there's probably a budget in the cemetery budget for that building. This is Dave's budget for that building.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't really want to go create another line.
But, whatever
They
you
have money
guys,
in their budget to do things for the Hearst house. too,
whatever you
so.
guys wanna do, that's up to you guys, yeah. Community center, explained the septic, and then, general maintenance, we've kept that the same. We took a majority of the funding out of that line for the bathroom at
Yeah,
the,
$8,700 of the line
Oh.
come out of there.
and,
Went to the
bathroom.
Kimball House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bathroom, yeah. And, we do need to do the floor in that big hall. And the last estimate I got for that was about under 9 to redo that floor.
You try Premier Flooring at all?
We were gonna go out with an RFP once we had a rough clue. I went to the company that installed it to tell them to come and evaluate it. This was last year now.
This should get done this year. What are we waiting for? You said this last year.
You know, and I'll probably say it again next year.
No,
It should be, I understand that.
do it.
Doesn't have the money.
That's the issue.
Years, we gotta do it before
I don't have the
these
money.
things come up.
We-
Yeah,
we
I
can
don't
find
have
the
the
money.
Well,
But we need an RFP for that one, and that's for sure.
Can we do an RFP on that one?
Yeah.
That needs to get done. You're throwing good money after bad if you don't do it. Well, you put all this good money into a new floor, now you're not taking care of it. You're wasting your money.
Don't look at me. I try to get it done it should be something done to it each year. But when the budget committee cuts the budget down
Don't blame the
to,
budget committee for the Kimball House. Don't blame the budget committee for the Kimball House.
I'm
You
not
had
blaming
$15,000
anybody,
in there.
but when I have
So when we-
a certain amount of money to spend, and it's only a certain amount, I
You have to have
can't.
priorities. You gotta take, you
Well,
know,
we
you gotta
do have
stand there, you
priori-
gotta
we
beat
do
your
have
chest, say,
priorities,
this is
but
my
they-
priority, this
they're-
has to get done.
Priorities are floating. They have to float because we have no clue. We have no choice. So the bathroom is a prime example. Across the street's gonna be a second example when we get to that. But I have no choice. I can only go within the constraints of this thing here. And you guys are the authorizing factors of all that. I have no clue, no factors on that.
I hate to say it, but if no one's telling us it needs to get done and we don't have the money, we're not taking that into consideration. We need to take that into consideration. Dave.
Understand?
Well, if I remember the conversation earlier, I think the projection was we might have $250,000 left in this year's budget if things break the way they look like they're gonna break.
The high estimate, I don't know, it was 2%, I think.
I said two.
How much money is
2.5% is what
I
it
said
was.
2.5.
120,000.
120,000. How much is it gonna take to get the floor done at the community center?
9,000.
Well,
On the high
like
side,
a year ago, it was 9,000.
on the high side. It's
With-
before you put it out.
Without going to an RFP with it and having, other people with it. And that's what we would need to do that for sure. But I don't have a problem getting it done. I have no problem at all getting anything done. It's just my concept of what I have to spend for money. And
I
know-
get that.
And I know there's gonna be some money coming out of it for across the street, no matter what we do. However we get the funding.
Sponsorships.
Why don't you work it out, and when you come back in across the street, we can look at the numbers and see.
I would be more than happy to do that. How about a week after next?
Okay.
Super.
All right.
Family mediation.
That's where we're at. Okay. I've added the septic into that, as you noticed in item number 3. And the increase there for general maintenance is anticipating that we only do a furnace replacement. And this is just anticipated now. And we remove the shed and the oil tank next year, and reside the building and have the tanks around the back of the building if we go to propane. Okay, that's why, that's the increase for that. And we can adjust that line if whatever we want, whatever you guys prefer to do when we discuss the.
You say this is for the furnace? Well, don't you have to buy a furnace for either oil or gas?
He's hoping to do that this year.
But we have to do something over there this year because of the failure of the oil tank.
Right.
And when I come back with better pricing, I have basically from one contractor right now, waiting for another couple for them to come in, because it's under 5, but it's for whichever way we go, it's under 5. But they're so close in whichever way we go, because of that outside shed that has to come apart again and rebuilt again if we go with the outside. The numbers are so close, but replacing the furnace
It doesn't make sense
with a
not to put a
propane.
new one in.
Propane, high 94, 96% efficient propane over there, and going propane, and then take the shed off and the tank out later. We're so close in the pricing for just the outside tank that it's to me, it's a no-brainer. But it's also was recommended when we had a failure over there in the energy audit we had in 10, that we replaced it to a high-efficiency furnace.
So you're gonna put gas in and leave the oil tank there until,
For next year, to take it up,
rid of it
take it
next
out
year.
with this budgeting
all right.
procedure here.
Jason had a question.
I'm sorry.
Rocky?
Is the use of the family mediation building worth what we're spending on it each year?
Yes. I've been told it is.
How so?
It's our contribution to the local people of this area that need a place to meet and have a place to discuss their.
The kids that are in trouble, that need counseling, and they're not behaving the way they should, a lot of times the judge will turn around and instead of finding you guilty on this, you've got to go through the family mediation program. So that's why over there, they've got kids constantly going around
And
and
most of
around.
that budget is raised outside of this.
Right. All we're taking care of is the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big
Yeah.
chunk of money.
Well, I was asking, was it worth doing it? And I'm just explaining,
It's a great
there's an
program.
awful lot of
It really is a
activity.
great program.
There's a ton of activity, nights, days, and even on some weekends, they have funding.
Oh, yeah, it's
People in there,
necessary.
yeah.
It's being funded by other sources.
It's being
besides,
funded by,
you know,
yeah, it's
Was it in our other budgets?
being funded by charitable gambling at this point.
Had been, yeah. Still
That's
is.
where the money comes from, the
Yeah.
budgets. But I
Until-
think the budget's.
Until
like-
next year.
Huh?
Until next year.
Well, there's 3 options up in Salem right now,
No.
which in your neighborhood.
None of those have been
No,
approved.
no, they
Wanna be?
can't go, those are all rejected.
None of them have got approval.
Can't go, there's gotta go before a warrant on the town to get, well, it's a long story, but
Yeah.
nothing's gonna
Anyway,
happen
but
till
that's,
then.
it's funded elsewhere outside by private incense donations.
Got it.
They do a lot of fundraising themselves,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
they
great
do.
program.
And I'm sure the ladies would come and talk to you about it, anything you want. They'd counsel you, sir, if they wanted some big counsel. And,
He needs the counseling over there.
And the last one on there is the general maintenance for the East Road building, and we want to put some, there's no power, lighting inside the building at all. Want to put some wiring in there, put some bulbs in, and get some fixtures in there.
So you got a building that you go into, and if you're closing up, when it's getting kinda dark out there, there's no light switch in there to turn the lights on?
Well, there's a light switch, but don't work. Back when they had when it was a cow barn, if you remember, Chief, when
I
you were
was,
there,
when
when you
Mr.
lived there and
Okay.
had milked the cows,
Yeah.
it was probably working. But all that stuff has been gutted when it was gutted before for whatever reasons. And the wiring's
You're gonna
cut.
put some lights in there now, though.
That would be what we do, what the
Stand
idea.
pick out.
Where is that? Where is this property?
East Road,
Where?
the lacrosse field.
That's the little block building there?
Yeah.
Well, it's a vinyl sided building, but it's, yeah. It used to be a cow barn.
Got it.
Yeah, across from the Tim Lane entrance, Greeno Road, where you go straight across, there's a field there,
Collins Park.
Collins Park.
Yeah, I know the barn.
Oh, I thought, you looked at me like you didn't know
No,
where it
no,
was.
I actually-
Oh, okay.
I'm
Barn's on the property?
Yeah, that's one,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
part of
Yes.
that, getting it
That's
sided
small
in a little bit,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
it's an old milk shed, basically.
They only milk 1 cow a day in there, so they need it too big.
East Road, install lighting on building, and then it says, note, 1,000 was used in 2016 for KH bathroom. What's that?
Kimball House.
That was for the Kimball
Kimball
House.
House bathroom.
Oh, I got you.
So that was one of the other.
That's one of the buildings that we took some extra money out of.
Where is
Oh,
that? Where is the
okay.
Kimball House expenditure showing up in any of this?
Well, it shows up actually within the
Under the Kimball House,
Kimball House.
25,000.
Yeah. Top of the second page, third line down.
And that's why I tried to identify it, so that if, the budget committee or someone says, well, you've only spent such and such, on a different line. The fact is that it actually was taken from some other line.
Tell me where that is again?
Second page, third one down, under expended.
Second page, third one down.
Heading is on the bottom of the first page, and it rolls over to the second page.
Yeah,
Oh, all right. So budgeted was 5,500, spent was 25 plus.
yeah,
Got it.
not bad. You must have really choked on that over expenditure.
Terrible.
Any questions, sirs? And that's,
No, let's make a motion to accept the buildings budget workshop in the total amount of $138,065.
Preliminarily, right?
Preliminary approval, correct.
That's for the buildings budget, bottom line number,
Correct.
right? That's just waiting a second.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at
much
it, waiting
did it-
to shave a little bit out of here, but,
Yeah. I'll second it for discussion then.
all right then.
I don't have the discussion, but if it's
No,
coming,
I'm just looking at, trying to go down the list there.
yeah, I'm
Any other
in
discussion?
the same boat.
I mean, you can
I mean,
ask,
like 15,000 for the community center, is there any savings there? I mean, did you do anything this year out of that 15,000 that you don't have to do next year? Because
Oh,
community center, that was the floor, right?
That
You get the floor done
15,000 was-
this year, you won't have to need the 15,000?
No, that was taken, wasn't that taking money out of there to,
Right.
if we do the floor, correct, we would take a bunch
Do
of
the
money
floor
out of
this
that
year, we won't
line.
need 15.
Correct.
So let's get the floor done.
We'll come up with an RFP and put it out, and we'll try to get it done next month.
There you go.
How's that?
And that
Is
can
that
come
okay?
down.
And we can probably drop that, maybe 10, anyway.
Okay.
Dave, do you have the money left in your budget for this year to get that done? And then what sacrifice if you
Wasn't a
don't?
question.
No, I know it's not,
No.
so that's why I'm asking the follow-up.
Yeah.
It sounds nice, get it
I
done,
don't
all
know.
right, how you gonna pay for it?
I don't
What's-
know.
What gets
That's what,
sacrificed?
Bill and I are
Harry.
Harry, and I are gonna have to look at this, because we know roughly how much we need for across the street. Either way we go with it. To look for another 10 grand in it, we might be pushing somebody else's budget, and I don't want to, that's kind of not, I don't think that's the way to go, but that's up to you guys.
Yeah, we kind of looked at a number of what we thought we had left.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest thing, the biggest
on it.
asset the town has is our buildings. And if you don't do preventative maintenance on it, all of a sudden, they're just gonna collapse.
And that building down there is probably about our highest use building, community center.
It looks big to look at this as a 14% increase, but is there anyone on this board that thinks or disagrees with the fact that this budget's under budgeted each year anyways? Or is it budgeted exactly where it should be?
I wish I had last year's selectmen's budget numbers. That'd answer you better. No, I think 138's not a bad place to be. I mean, I know things we're talking about, I'm just trying to, for instance, if that floor was taken out of this year's budget and got done, then we would be in better shape.
When you look at some of these numbers, and I understand it's all over the place, probably for different reasons, but in 1 year, 222,000 spent, then that, certainly that's
That was the
something,
year we did the
that's the
floor.
community center floor, right?
Yeah.
Then it drops to
That was
112,
rebuilt.
but
That was a rebuild.
And you also did air conditioning in here 1 year.
in 15, it's
Yeah, that was last year.
146.
We did that whole thing in
And
here.
you did
last
the
year.
roofs and.
So we're being asked to approve almost $10,000 less than we spent 2 years ago.
This year, we've only expended 91, we still have $30,000 in that budget, somewhere. doing something.
The bottom line, yes, understand.
That's what we're looking at.
Because I got electricity, I got water, I've got other stuff see, if it was just strictly building maintenance,
Right.
that would be a total different story.
Right, but you can, at this time of the year, you can pretty much guesstimate what the rest of your expenses are gonna be, and,
November, yes, you can.
okay,
That's what we're working on. So we-
all right.
Yeah, we are.
I just think that floor is important, that's all.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree, and it's something that should be done to it each year, but it's just,
I have a motion second, any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion?
I,
Aye,
I,
unanimous.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Have a quiet night.
Thank you.
Dave, you need to come in more often.
Why?
We should see you in the spring. After the budget, after the.
You think I look better?
No, so we make sure we're pointing in the right direction, that's all.
Every quarter.
Every quarter.
Don't
anyway.
rock.
Needs
I do.
Needs a little more.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Thank you,
I
sir.
turn it upside down and I just flood it with it. And I have to set it
You're not
upside
his
down
personal
for-
maintenance guy.
Sorry?
You're not his personal maintenance guy.
What's this doing?
He's always trying to help out, let
He
him do
he
it.
thinks the chair's doing it, but I think his knees are doing it.
What's next on the agenda?
Thank you, guys.
I don't know, do we have one yet? What do you want to talk about?
Private fence.
Actually, yeah,
Oh, no, we have a fence issue update.
that old visit, that was just that,
The piece you handed out to
piece
us?
that I handed out to you.
Okay.
And some that just wanted to know whether that, you had any issues with it.
Indemnification and hold harmless agreement.
I read it, looked fine to me.
Looks good to you?
It looked
Yep.
fine to me too, but he wanted you guys to look at it.
Take you guys' word for it then.
Great, go ahead.
Okay.
Do we need a motion? We don't need a motion, right?
No.
Okay.
The next item is left over from last week, and that was the crack ceiling bid. And you wanted clarification as it related to
The extras.
the extra, and that was an extra charge per day. And what that was if for whatever reason it went over and above the existing RFP, okay? The RFP was what it was specific, so they were the low bidder when it came to that. They were the only ones that threw in an extra cost, should you decide for whatever reason to do other roads or whatever, that was what they charged.
All right,
Okay,
so
had nothing to do with the existing RFP for those roads,
for
or
what-
that number of
what the
footage, whatever
RFP
it
was out for X, Y, and Z, they're gonna cover that with the bid that they submitted.
Exactly.
If Teddy turns around and says, hey, how about doing A, B, and C, then if you wanna do those roads, which wasn't in the RFP, then they're gonna charge you $4,000 a day, right?
Right. So he recommended, as you mentioned last time, was Nikon coatings.
And I'll make a motion to accept that, the bid on that, with the approval of the road agent.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Bless you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Are we into old and new business?
We are under old business right now.
New business, okay, either one.
Old business. We got for old business.
The discussion we had earlier tonight about buying down the tax rate and the impact on the undesignated fund balance. Did you want to get into any discussion or inform the public at all about our discussions about the land property? Or do you want to skip past that?
No, I think we can bring it up. Before we do though, Russell, did you want to talk to us about something?
Yeah, you can bring it up, that's okay.
Yeah,
You mind, Jason, take Russell first?
Nope.
last week I did my IT budget, and when I factored in with the Excel spreadsheet, I was under, you came up with a number $2,000 under what we have for an Excel spreadsheet. Because I came up with 91, you came up with 89, so I was making sure those two numbers reflect each other from all the cutting.
Yeah, there was,
That's my only
there was a,
thing.
there was a additional, a number mistake in addition. You remember we were-
Subtraction.
Subtraction.
Okay.
And so there's a corrected number that needs to be corrected. I can go out there. and
We
get
can
it.
take, that's small enough, we can take care of on the
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I was
It's a
making
type-
sure, like, because I can't do it with 89.
Yeah.
Just-
I just figured we'd catch it in the next.
Okay.
Okay.
I was making sure it's,
Will we address the house issue?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
that-
Thank you,
Will we
Russell.
address the house issue? What do you want to do?
Doesn't matter to me. How do you want to
That-
deal with it?
Just talk about it. So, do you have just a statement to say, or?
Yeah,
think
I
we should wait
mean, we've been doing a lot of non-public talk about buying a piece of land in town. We're not gonna disclose where that piece of land is at this point, because we're still interested. But because the, selectmen decided to buy down the tax rate, there's no money in our undesignated fund balance to try to do what we wanted to do, which was to go to DRA and ask for an emergency,
Funding.
funding
For
to purchase the
approval,
land
emergency
for our
purposes.
cemetery. We're still gonna talk to the landowner and try to come up with something different, but at this point,
It's off the table.
it's off the table as far as going to DRA.
And using the undesignated fund balance money to try and do
Yeah,
it.
so that's, did I capture it?
Yep, I
pretty
think
good?
that captures
Got
it.
it all?
Very well.
Yep.
Good job, Harold.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
New
Any other
business?
old business?
I got one under old business. The last meeting we had, were we gonna,
Here it comes.
the last meeting we had, I thought it was a discussion that we were gonna have the code enforcement officer come in and see us this night.
I read that.
Yeah.
I did read that in the meeting minutes.
What happened?
I read in the minutes a future meeting.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, future
Yeah, but it
meeting.
was pretty much discussed he was gonna come in at this meeting.
I
He
didn't.
was,
I
we
didn't-
called him
I
and he was
didn't-
busy.
I wasn't here. I don't know.
Alan dropped the ball. He went-
Yeah,
had
I
a few days off
dropped
last
the
week.
ball on that one day I was here.
You're gonna have him in next week?
Alan
I
took
was
some time
distracted
off
last
and,
week.
If he comes in next week, it depends.
we're not here next week. Oh, we need to talk about that too.
That's what I was gonna bring up under new business.
Okay. Any other old business?
That's it for now.
Jason, you wanna talk about new
So
business?
next Monday's Halloween, and I mentioned beforehand at an earlier meeting about possibly either pushing off that meeting till later than we usually meet, or canceling it altogether, or moving it to a different date. So trick or treat runs from 6 to 8. I would prefer to not meet during that window of time for all of
Tuesday.
the parents that want to watch these meetings, and they'll be busy. So does the board have any pleasure?
How about Tuesday?
Budget committee's meeting Tuesday typically, and right in the middle of budget season. We could do a Wednesday maybe, or what do we have on our agenda? Do we have, do
There's not a lot of stuff right now.
we have more budget stuff coming before
No,
us?
no, that's about it.
Do we need to talk-
It'll be just reviewing.
Is it too early to start talking about any warrant articles we're gonna wanna put in?
I've got to talk to Barbara about what we have and lay out.
So it wouldn't hurt us if we took that day off.
Last
It
Monday.
wouldn't hurt us if we took that day off.
I wasn't doing that.
Well, I'll come in and just be here for
I'd
you
give us a
guys,
break to
that's
try
all.
and get caught up a little bit.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Yeah, if you're comfortable with us canceling a meeting and thinking that that'll be all right, then I'll.
If something comes up in the meantime, we can
Yeah,
always
if
schedule a
there's an
meeting.
emergency thing, but I don't,
All right, then I'll move to cancel our meeting of the 31st.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, opposed.
3-1.
I did try and call a vote when you were out of the room, but that didn't get
No,
anywhere.
you did, weren't quite quick enough.
He's just feeling guilty. He voted himself a raise last week.
I wanted to ask about that. Are we still under old business?
You
Did I
know,
read that correctly in the minutes that the 3 members who were here last week, that 2 of the members voted to give a 2% raise to the Board of Selectmen?
Yes.
It's not gonna happen though, because of the fact that the amount that was given to the selectmen originally and any increases had to go as a warrant in the town meeting, even though all the employees are getting it. This, because it's the selectmen, is supposed to go before a warrant article. So it's
Thank
with,
God. That's awesome.
So wait, we found out beforehand that we've found out since that the vote is meaningless, or?
I found out today from our assistant town administrator that because of the fact that the original warrant article was put in maybe years ago for the selectmen, every time there was an increase, it had to go in as a warrant article.
So the extra $1.26 a week they would have gotten, we're not going to get.
and I took all that aggravation from the budget committee over that one.
So, if I'm reading the minutes correctly, 2% increase brought our number from 16,901 up to 17,238. And you're saying now that vote's meaningless, right?
I will confirm tomorrow, just to make sure.
So would it be premature to,
They tried to convince me that we've been getting the 2% right along. I go, no, we haven't.
would it be premature to vote to knock that back to the original number?
Yes.
Just-
Let them find out.
All right.
Oh, you're so tight.
It's $1.26 a week.
You know, it's, you gotta take care of your employees.
Yes, I know.
I think Jason's all upset if you take that away from him.
That's not the case at all.
$5.50 a month.
Jason won't be upset.
That's $60
It's
a
that
year.
principle.
$5 a month,
You have to have
66
principles
bucks a
once in
year.
a while. Principle of the thing.
I'm not,
It's the principle.
I don't think we should have done it in the first place. It's not worth the
So anyway, any other old business, or new business, I guess, we're on new business, new business?
I'm all set.
Anybody? We're not gonna be here next Monday.
We were supposed to meet with the budget committee tomorrow.
I have to email them and let them know we're not gonna be there.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, I
You
have
want me to
a,
take care of it, because I
I
have
have a
to,
plaque here on my desk. What's
I was
that?
gonna say, if you want me to take care of it, because I have to talk
No,
to
no,
Bill Smith in
no,
the
no.
morning anyway,
No,
so.
I'm gonna text them or email them right at the
Okay.
end of the night here.
Great.
All right.
We have a plaque on my desk here from 18th Annual AMC Northeast Video Festival. Event coverage, single camera, non-professional, first place. It's the 5th Annual Jack Frost event. Looks like our assistant
Russell?
Station manager.
station manager, Russell Wolf, won that.
Congrats, Russell.
Yeah,
Congrats,
great
Russell.
job. Great
Friends
Good
of
job.
the
job,
library.
Russell.
Nice
Good job,
job.
Russell.
No more money, but it's a good job.
Nice job.
Some people like to volunteer now.
Hey.
He got more money in his budget this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of volunteers,
I come in and answer the phone and answer questions. I'm the only guy that comes in. I'm volunteering my time.
Boy.
this might be an okay time also
Why he
to
needs the extra $1 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, cover my gas back and forth.
thank the Lions Club and to congratulate Christine Lewis Morse on her being the Citizen of the Year. That's
Very much so.
very wonderful.
I think
Quite
they have
a
to think more
turnout.
than just the Lions Club. I think they put on a great event. And it's their reward. But I think there's a lot of nice people showed up for that, and it meant a lot to Christine.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. Very
One of the
nice.
largest
Looks like a good
turnouts we've
event.
had.
I can say, it meant a lot to her. So
Good.
Good.
It's good to hear.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
for her, I'll thank everybody. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn at
Okay, your future agenda, you gonna skip that?
You're gonna skip that?
Your future agenda items?
You giving up on that? It's my turn.
Yeah, you give it a shot this week.
I'll give it a shot. You seem like you got a little hoarse. Future agenda.
Hold on a minute. Oh, we're getting there. At what point do you want to figure out,
And Alan's waving something at me. What do you got, Alan?
I just want to make sure in the FYI that it gets mentioned about the household hazardous waste.
It's on there.
Okay.
Well, bring it up. Throw that paper. That might freeze people's brain a little more.
at what point do we want to take up who's doing what as
Zoom in
far
on
as
Alan there,
election
will you?
day?
Say again?
At what point do you want to take up who's doing what on election day?
Oh, we can do that. We ought to do that now where we're going to be.
I know what
short.
I'm doing.
I just,
There's
I just
four of us
wanted,
now
I wanted
that
to
can do it.
mention
Can
that
you zoom in that camera a little tighter?
Go ahead, Alan.
I just wanted to mention that the Household Hazardous Waste Day is this coming Saturday
Yeah,
at 9 a.m., starting at 9 a.m.
yeah.
It's at 50 Appropriate Dump Road in Chester. And if you go on our social media and website, look at that.
There we go.
Nice.
Now did I take all the information from you?
I just took care of it. But there's a listing on our Facebook page, I believe, and the website as to what they'll take and what they won't. Just informational purposes, real quick, a lot of people have called, and the latex paint can be disposed of in your regular trash, provided that you dry it out and the like, so.
Very good.
Okay.
So that's something that the town pays for, whether you use it or not. So I think it's important that everyone takes advantage of it and use it. Even though it's in Chester, being held in Chester, we're paying good money for it. So.
That's for sure.
Substantially expensive.
Yeah. All done, Alan?
Yep.
All right, then, here we go. October 25th and 26th, AARP Smart Drive Course at the Community Center, 50 years or older. You can see Enrico for more information. October 28th is the Atkinson's Got Talent. It's at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Atkinson Community Center. And you can sign up at the town website. October 29th is the Household Hazardous Waste Day that Alan just mentioned, and that is from 9 till noon. And October 31st is Trick or Treat. It's Monday evening, and it's going to be held from 6 to 8 p.m. Everyone have a safe and happy Halloween.
And the selectmen won't be meeting that night.
And the selectmen have taken that night off, so you don't have to watch us on TV either, so that's good. November 5th, 2016, Peddler's Market, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Atkinson Community Center.
9 a.m., I think.
That's gonna be a good turnout. A lot of people are bringing in crafts for that show.
Very good. Peddler's Market. And then, yeah, a lot of talented people in town. Talented, yeah.
I've even set up a booth.
Then we have November 8th, is a presidential election, and that's being held from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And a special note on that, it is being held at the Atkinson Academy and the new gym. So it's not at the community center, but at the Atkinson Academy. And November 11th is Veterans Day. Town offices are closed. And Veterans Remembrance and Breakfast at 9 a.m. at the Atkinson Community Center. And on the 12th is the Atkinson Firefighters Association's 70th annual turkey raffle. And that's from 7 p.m. to it's at 7 p.m. at the fire station. And that's a big event in town. And on the 16th is Alzheimer's disease and emerging therapies at the community center. And the 27th is the Atkinson tree lighting at the Dow Common at 5 p.m. And December 16th is the Edward Twins, sponsored by the Lions Club. Tickets are $25 and up. There's a website set up for that for more details. Is that the town website?
And the Lions Club,
They have a website?
if I could just add a few things to that particular one.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. I think it was last year, we had the Edward Twins come to town, and what a show they put on. It's absolutely phenomenal. And now they're coming back on Friday, December 16th, and this is going to be the Cheer and Buscelli and Barbara Streisand, and it's going to be held on Friday, December 16th. The tickets are $25 and up, depending on where you want to sit or how close you want to be, and you can pick the tickets up over at the PAC Center. And all the funds that are raised from this, from the Lions Club, we take all those funds and we put them right back into the town again.
Very good. And we also have, one last note, is we will not be meeting Monday, which we've already said several times. Our next meeting is November 7th, day before voting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
We're not meeting again until November 7th. You want to set something up now, but we're going to do the polls?
Yes. Jason brought it up, we need to. Who's working the polls and what do we have for times? Mr. Friel cannot work the polls. Mr. Grosky,
Clear?
you clear to work?
Yep.
What hours would you like?
I think I probably prefer later to close,
Okay,
if that works.
I'll do early because Phil
I
doesn't
think it's
get
going
up
to
early.
be, I have a feeling it'll probably be a late night.
So they were in 4-hour shifts,
It can be.
coming in at 7.
Yeah, Mr. Baldwin also.
Yeah. Mr.
So if I
Baldwin.
take 6 to close or 7 to close or something like that, does that work?
Yeah, that closes at what, 8?
That's when the polls close.
Right. Then you're
Be
gonna
there
stay
for another couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start at 6 if that works out all right.
I
Sounds
read
good.
in the paper, the woman up in Derry that's the new town administrator, moderator, that taking the ballots after they're done to put them into the central location where they're picked up by the state, that it can't be done like over the
No.
years.
I think Derry's different. Derry's got 3 polling
Locations.
places. So they were moving the ballots from those 3 places to one centralized spot. And there was an issue with how that was being done. Not to mention the fact that she was a candidate for office at the same time that she was involved in the balloting.
It's stated, if I'm not mistaken, that the police can no longer be the one to carry the ballots. It's supposed to be somebody from the registry of the supervisors to the
Supervisors
list
checklist.
has to be in there and be with those ballots until they got where they were going.
That's how we handle it.
Yeah, that's usually
That was,
Rose.
it's quite a
and-
process. I was,
Yeah.
not this past election, but before I think it was, yeah. It's quite a
I was
process.
impressed from the standpoint, it was the first time I ever did, had to stay in the election at the last one. And
Yeah.
the things that they went through, I was
Yeah.
amazed.
It's gonna be much interesting this time, a lot more
A
people.
lot of people
Yep.
watching, a lot of people, this one's got a lot more people and got a lot of people watch it too, so. Which is good. I mean, but Rose does a really good job with it.
It does a really good job.
Supervisors the checklist, they do a great job, so.
I can take 12 or 1 to 6,
Okay,
and
so 1 to 6. I'll try to work out something with Mr. Baldwin if he can do sometime in the morning and we'll split the morning up. I'll be there 7, though. I'm gonna do 7.
It's a good time for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn
Make
now.
notes of that, Alan, to put, remind me?
Yeah.
Jason's got
Okay, Jason, 6 to 8,
5:30,
6 to close.
6 to close, 6 to close.
6 to close.
And Phil said 1 to 6, you
Yep.
said starting
Give
at
me
7
the
and then
7 to 5,
depending.
and we'll try to get Mr. Baldwin in there to help us
Okay.
on either end.
I'll be there from 7 to close.
In the corral.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn at
I think the
9:32.
corral's gonna be at the corner of Academy and Maple this year, so.
I asked yesterday.
Do I have a second to the motion? to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Jason seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Good night.
We are adjourned.